Okay, so I know what you're thinking. Why is there a tree frog on this video about fixing a camera on a phone? Well, the reason why is because one of these little bastards is the reason why I had to fix the phone, because my wife, when confronted with danger in the dark while watering plants, will immediately fling a $300 phone at the ground as fast as humanly possible when confronted with danger. So, one, doesn't bode well for frogs because this is an adorable little frog and now my wife's phone's broken because of it. But it also doesn't bode well for my wife in general anytime she's confronted by danger when her natural instinct is to throw her only communication device on her person as fast as you can at the hard ground. So, this is what the phone looks like when it's broken, and this is how we're going to have to fix it. They make aftermarket lens covers. This is for the Motorola MX, I believe X4. This is one of the Google Fi phones. They also have other networks as well, but their camera lenses are a little interesting in that they're very large and they're glass coverings on them. So it's actually two little cameras on there plus an LED light, and we got to actually go ahead and get this on there. There's two stages to this. The first stage is going to be actually taking the camera old glass off. It's not technically the actual lens on the camera, it's really just a glass covering for it, but it's still necessary because it actually protects the camera itself, and basically it's how the thing operates. It will operate without it, but the camera is in basically constant danger if you operate it without this glass over top of it. Now, the brand of this is Bakewell. It doesn't really matter what you get. You see a lot of these, they are Chinese crap, essentially, although there are replacement parts there from the factory for these phones. They are exorbitantly expensive and also not terribly not much better when you really break it down. The biggest flaw I've seen with these in reviews is the fact the replacement glass is not the same type of glass that it replaces. So it's not Gorilla Glass. It's probably just some cheap, maybe tempered glass, and it will scratch easily. It'll also break more easily. It did not break when I replaced it, but most of these kits come with several of these things for a reason rather than just sending out one glass covering. So make sure along with this, you also get a tempered glass cover to help protect it and make it last a little longer. This one obviously also does not match, so it's hard to find matching parts for this that aren't from the factory, although it is possible. They just go with standard black, probably because it's easiest to get from China in this fashion. Most of the stuff you're going to get for this is from China. There's not much of a way to avoid that if you want to keep costs down. This was under $10. So really the way you as far as installing this thing, it's the exact same as putting on a tempered glass cover. It even has all the same materials for the most part. What changes is the fact that the original glass on these cameras is often affixed to the camera itself by an adhesive. So the adhesive will be on there, and you got to scrape it off. Sometimes you can get away with not using heat gun, sometimes you can't. It depends on the age of your phone, what's going on with it. This one's a fairly new phone, so I could not get it off there without heating it first. A hair dryer will do the job. A cheap hair dryer will get it hot enough, hold it on there for 10 seconds at a time. It'll get the glue softened up, and then you can pull it off of there. Although it's not a perfect system, it's still better than a lot of just yanking it off of there. So I would default to trying it with the heat gun, although you don't have to have it, but I'd still recommend it. You can also probably plan on making a slight mess. I would recommend getting either a dust cloth that might come with the kit you purchase, or just getting a little can of aerosol duster just to get the glass particles away, and make sure you wipe down with a damp cloth because this is glass that's coming off of this, so it can get into stuff and get nasty, and you never know, it might actually get in your skin or something. If you got dogs, animals, pets, kids, whatever, it could mess them up. So make sure you clean up because these things do shatter in a certain way that makes a ton of little bitty debris. So once you get that off of there, you'll be good to go, but it is a pain to scrape off. And as you're watching this, you will also probably notice I'm manhandling the lens cover there, the glass cover for the lenses, as you might see. After this is done, the camera works perfectly. So you're going to see me doing a whole lot of scraping around, getting this thing out of there. It just was not wanting to come out. So you might have the same issue. It's fairly robust. Just be careful not to let anything pokey, sharp near those two lenses or the LEDs at the top there. So just avoid that. Just try to stay as far as you can. Just kind of slide your little prongs or your tweezers that may or may not come with your kit. I've also seen this done with a razor blade. Will work very well. Make sure you're very careful. Slide in or avoiding touching the actual lenses themselves. And once you get that glass on there, there might be glass actually inside where the camera is. Get the tweezers out. Be very, very ginger. Again, I was able to get through it. It was a pain, but it worked. Make sure if you have glasses that you're wearing them so you can see everything, because you don't want any glass particles on those lenses. Again, why you want to use the dust collectors and whatnot. So you'll see here me just kind of peeling this thing off. It did not want to come. This is a newer phone, so that adhesive is probably fresh. It's not gotten any degraded over time in any way. So yeah, you see kind of stretchy there. And the new lenses you're going to have, or the new glass for the lens, will have the same kind of material on it, and it will be adhesive, so you kind of get a one-shot chance at it. If you don't get it right, you got to open up a new one. So just be very, very careful with that. And again, you see I had to take it yet again with the actual hair dryer there. I think I had to do at least 5 times. Not too crazy, but I mean, you got to do what you got to do to make it happen. So there you see it flapping. That's always pleasant. But overall, the process to pry it out probably took 15 minutes of me being very ginger with it. If you hopefully don't have to do this a bunch of times, but if you do, you know how to do it. It's not terrible. Just keep anything metal and sharp away from those lenses as best you can. I use these tweezers that came with the kit. I'll link the kit in the description. But I was happy with the kit that came with it. It was basically a full cell phone repair kit. It was very inexpensive. It had other pieces, like if you were trying to replace your screen, but obviously not doing that because that was saved by the phone case, so we don't have to worry about it. But overall, that's about what it came out like. So I didn't want to scratch things up. And first thing you do is test your camera without the glass on it. Make sure there's nothing that it's focusing on. Make sure the autofocus functions properly, and you'll be good to go. Everything worked. Took pictures, made sure nothing was out of focus or that it was focusing the right stuff. And from there, you can go ahead and get ready to actually put on the new adhesive-backed glass cover. Mine is black. That is why when you'll notice it changes colors. It is not the blue that comes with it. So maybe just another advertisement for sticking with base colors. Replacement parts for them are usually the most common color sold. In this case, black is definitely the most common color of this phone. And you put it on there. I didn't use any of the dust collectors or the sticks because I wasn't putting on a tempered glass case, and the actual lens or the glass for the camera itself had a sticky side that you pull off and exposes the glue, and it had a static piece of plastic on the other side to prevent dust. So basically, you hold on to that piece of plastic and put it down over. I had to use tweezers to remove the tab on the sticky side, and that was a little bit harder than I thought it would be. But just be ginger with it again, and it'll work out just fine. And again, you can find these aftermarket kits under a number of brands. They're all the same thing. If you see this little blue colored sticky stuff on one of these things, it's probably from the same Chinese factory. So please keep in mind the glass is not the same quality. What's on that camera lens originally from the factory is Gorilla Glass. This most likely is not Gorilla Glass, so it's not scratch resistant, and it probably isn't shatter resistant. So go ahead and get a tempered glass cover for it just to be safe. And just be very careful with it. Know that you're replacing with a part that's inferior to factory. If you want to pay for the regular part, you can, but it's going to cost you extra, and probably you're going to have to go searching for it pretty hard. This is a fairly common issue with this camera because of the large area of exposed glass on the camera versus that itty bitty square that like iPhones and Samsungs have. This has it's almost a little, maybe 3/4 inch diameter. That's a pretty big piece of glass to have virtually exposed unless you have a very thick phone case. And even then, if it hit, like in my case, my wife threw it at the ground, and the ground had it was brick mulch, and brick mulch is not forgiving and shattered the phone. It was also an uneven surface, so of course the brick mulch tapped right on top of that phone glass or the camera glass and shattered it completely. So you see me pulling this off right here. It doesn't take long. I mean, I'm kind of flying blind here outside the very bad instructions that are kind of half translated Chinese. So it's not great instruction-wise, which is kind of why I made this video. But just keep your fingers off of the sticky part, and you should be okay. You get it gives you a little bit of forgiving. It's a little forgiving on the touching part, but just avoid it. It will only fit on one way. There's my hair. This is a great example of me not being a good cinematographer. Look at the hair. Oh, it's amazing. Look at it. It's so beautiful. Okay. You just slide it right on. It fits in there flush. So don't worry about like, will it not slide on perfect? Like, it's not tempered. It's not a tempered glass phone cover. It is meant to go, it's meant to replace the actual glass. So it should fit in there flush. If it doesn't fit in there flush, it means you either did something wrong or you possibly ordered the wrong size. Other Motorola phones have a similar design, but the diameter on them was slightly different. This is for the Motorola X4, so just keep that in mind. And it's only for the X4. I think there's other G series that have a similar look, but not quite the same size. And the very end of this is just putting on the tempered glass protector. This is pretty standard stuff. If you ever put one on a phone itself, you should be fine. It's just a reminder, make sure you put on the tempered glass protector for this, because again, it's not Gorilla Glass, it's replacement glass. So it's not going to be the same quality. So just put it on there. I know it's ugly, but it'll keep the thing safe, and it'll prevent your camera from getting damaged if you have a shattering event happen again, or if a frog decides to jump on your wife, and your wife's natural response to danger is once again to throw her only communication device as fast and strongly as possible towards the cold, hard ground. So, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you found this helpful. Have a great day.